Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to go through with you how to get the perfect base. Now again, this is something that I get asked all the time about in my questions on Instagram and Twitter and everything like that, is you guys always seem to ask me, how do I get the most flawless base? How do I get a good under eye concealer? I'm going to go through with you in real detail of how to get the perfect concealer and also how to get your perfect foundation. And I'm going to try and use products that are mainly high street friendly. So first things first is always start with a really good skincare routine. Now I have got a video on skincare, so make sure that you check that out, and I go through everything in great detail. So I'm going to start off with under eyes. Now this is something that I get asked all the time. The one thing that I would say, and so many people get this wrong, is that they're like, well, concealer doesn't seem to cover under my eyes, it still comes through really dark. No, concealer will not cover darkness under the eyes. You have to deal with one thing at a time. You need to correct your skin tone. You need to go for something that's going to combat any darkness. So if you look at a colour wheel, you're looking at the opposites to a colour wheel. So anything bluey, you need to go for orange, okay? So that, I mean, roughly gives you that an idea. You can buy lots of different things out there. There are colour correctors left, right and centre. My favourite ones are, I mean, you can go for something like this. This is from Ben Nye. This is an old school makeup company that loads of makeup artists use. Something like this is an amazing colour wheel. If you are a makeup artist and you want a colour, a concealer kit, then this is brilliant. These have lots of different colours, so if you're working on lots of different skin tones, this is great. Other things such as Urban Decay do a colour corrector fluid, something like this. As you can see, it's a bit more peachy than it is beige. This one is actually called Peach. And it's a corrector, guys. This is not their concealer, this is a corrector. Same with Bobbi Brown. Bobbi Brown do their own correctors as well, which I think are amazing. I love these ones. They're very creamy and they really get in there with any darkness. So on that note, I'm going to take a little bit of the Urban Decay one, just because I don't think I've used this one before. And I'm just going to show you where you pop this. So where I've got darkness is right into the corner here, and some people have it right up there. And just pat it along where you think you've got your darkness, okay? Now I'm going to take a brush. I'm going to take the ZOEVA one. This is, what number is this? 142 concealer brush. And I'm just going to very gently blend that into my skin, okay? Then with my ring finger, I'm just going to pat it. Do not rub, guys. You're simply patting it into the skin. Now instantly, that has taken away any darkness. Can you see the difference? Straight away. It's taken away any of that darkness under here, and it's just lifted it. But it hasn't lifted it enough to be a concealer. If I just did that, it looks nice and I've got rid of some of the darkness, but I want my under eye area to really be brightened, and that's when you come in with your concealer. This is again where sometimes people make a bit of a mistake where they just now will take their foundation. Your foundation should match your skin exactly. So it should match your neck, your chest, everything. Your concealer needs to be one shade lighter than your foundation. Now I'm going to pop a little bit of, I'm going to go for the BarryM concealer. This is their new one. This is their full coverage concealer. I'm not really a full coverage kind of girl, but I actually really like these concealers. I think they're really nice. And this one's number 3 Cookie. And what I'm going to do is just pop that under my eye area, kind of this area here. Now again, I don't want to go crazy, but I just want to blend that in. Taking the same brush, just pat it in under the eye. Now you can either do your concealer and foundation, you can do your concealer first and then your foundation, but I just really wanted to show you how to get in there to get those dark circles away. It's so important to wear an eye cream. I cannot tell you, this will really help the product sit under your eyes. But also at the same time, guys, if you have really darkness and you want to lift it, you do need to go for something a bit creamier. Any of those water-based ones, they're not going to really work. And actually, the more creamier, the more hydrating you'll feel under the eye. But as I said, really tap it out with your finger. Really make sure that it blends into your eye. Now the foundation that I'm using is the Healthy Mix Serum by BOURJOIS. I really, really like this foundation. It's a little bit heavier than I normally would go for, but I actually really, really like the texture of it. And at the moment, I'd quite like I kind of want a medium coverage. And for my skin, this is actually really good. And I really like to blend it into my skin. Again, I like to use quite a fat brush. The brush that I'm using is the ZOEVA 102 Silk Finish foundation brush, and I love to just buff it into my skin. I really take time, guys, to really buff product into my skin, as you can see. The thing about this foundation that I actually really like, I usually use the Healthy Mix Serum, which is slightly more moisturising than this one. But if you want a little bit more coverage, then this one's a great one, but it just gives you that kind of flawless look. Now, I would take a little bit more of my concealer now. And again, I just want to lift certain areas. So I'm just going to kind of pop a little bit here, tiny bit down here, around my nose, and on my forehead, a teeny weeny bit. And again, just buff that. I'm going to take a slightly fatter, but like an in the middle brush now, which is the 101. And I'm just going to I kind of sometimes use this as my foundation. Just buff that into my skin. So I'm just going to basically use it as a bit of a highlighter. Now guys, that is just corrector, concealer and a bit of foundation. I haven't got anything else on my skin. And as you can see the difference, it just makes my skin look really flawless. Here, you know, I've kind of got redness here, darkness here, and it just instantly takes that away. I haven't put any powder on or anything like that. And it just gives that really gorgeous kind of glow to the skin. I'm just going to show you now how to kind of bronze your skin up by using a stick foundation. I really like this because coming into spring and summer, I don't really want to use too many powder products. So I actually really like to use a stick foundation actually, which is basically like a creamy blusher. So again, this is from BarryM, this one. I've actually got this in hazelnut. And I'm just going to pop a little bit on here. I'm just going to contour a little bit of my face. Contour, but also use it as a little bit of a bronzer. There is no point really doing anything down my nose at all. And just buff that into the skin. Again, I'm using, really get into the hairline, guys. You don't want any kind of, any trace of that. So again, really buff it in. I'm kind of going between the two of these ones. I'm probably going to go back to the big one, which is the 102. Just really buff that in. And I like using creamy products because it makes my skin look silkier and fresher, I find. Just makes it look a little bit dewier. I'm going to take a teeny weeny of that stick and I'm just going to pop a little bit of that on my eyelid. And then last but not least, guys, I'm going to take a little bit of highlighter. This one's the L'Oreal Infallible and it's number 502, Gold is Gold. And I'm going to take it on the little brush. I'm just going to blend it onto my skin that way. Actually, my finger. So there you have it, guys. I know it seems a bit weird, but I've done two sides of my face, but as you can see the difference, like tired, old, not very attractive, slightly better. Now you're ready to continue the rest of your makeup. I don't feel like I've got loads of products on my skin because I've used products that I think work with my skin, and also because I'm a little bit dry, I've gone for more hydrating products, hence the reason I've used creams. But also I've kind of used everything that I know is going to work with my skin tone. And it's exactly the same case for you guys, but you might need to adapt the colours slightly and adjust it to your tones. But I really hope that helped you. I hope it helps you get confident and feel that you can do the perfect base, because I know you can, and it won't take very long, and it also doesn't have to be a major expense either. I hope that's helped, guys. I'm gonna try and make up this side of my face now. Give it a thumbs up. Any questions, make sure you link any questions below. Definitely check me out on my Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and I will see you very soon. Have a wonderful day. Oh, hello. Just move my phone because it keeps making a really annoying vibrating noise.